The Green Bay Packers are in a good spot to compete in the NFC. If Jordan Love is able to demonstrate he can consistently perform like a top 10 quarterback. However, the roster is still short on proven blue-chip type players, particularly on defense. As such a move for discontent Pittsburgh Steelers All-Pro edge rusher, TJ Watt, could make a lot of sense. And Adam Schefter reports that in light of the Jalen Ramsey trade earlier on Monday, Watt could more likely to switch teams in the near future. In an article on ESPN, Schefter expanded on Watt's annoyance with his situation with the team, which is currently seeing him enter a contract year in 2025. Watt, who is entering the final year of his contract with the Steelers, also skipped voluntary OTAs this offseason as he attempted to negotiate a new deal. Watt, who turns 31 in October, hasn't spoken publicly since the end of the 2024 season. But he seemingly expressed frustration with the negotiations in April when he posted a picture to his Instagram story of himself flashing a peace sign in a Steelers jersey. What would TJ Watt bring to the Packers? A lot. Rashawn Gary has not been the kind of consistent threat off the edge that Green Bay envisioned when they drafted him with the 12th overall pick back in 2019, even though he has turned into a broadly effective player. Lucas Van Ness, who was drafted with the same draft selection 4 years later in 2023, has to date shown very little for fans to get excited for, although he is potentially primed for a breakout season in 2025. So not only what would bring that pedigree and true elite-level production to a Packers team that did not produce as well off the edge in 2024 as they would have hoped preseason, but he would act as a mentor for Van Ness and other young defensive linemen who are looking to kick on this season. What could stop Green Bay from acquiring Watt? Primarily, the Steelers. Schefter noted that the team was not fielding offers for the former Defensive Player of the Year. But if contract negotiations do not progress, it would not be shocking to see Pittsburgh relent and get a return on Watt, who turns 31 in October. Another drawback would likely be scheme-related, as the Packers shifted to a 4-3 base last season, moving away from the 3-4 scheme that was run under successive former defensive coordinators, going back to the days of Dom Capers. And Watt has spent the entirety of his career playing as a 3-4 outside linebacker. But accommodations can be made, and there is no doubt that ex-Wisconsin man would still be effective as a hand-in-the-ground defensive end. This is not anything near an imminent likelihood, but certainly a situation to keep an eye on in the coming weeks and months. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a versatile plan for new cornerback Jalen Ramsey that will see the 3-time All-Pro play all over the defensive backfield. According to Jerry Dulock of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Steelers plan to use Ramsey in the slot and even at safety. He will play outside, too, but his versatility will allow the Steelers to have Joey Porter, Darius Slay, and Ramsey on the field simultaneously. Veteran wide receiver Tyler Boyd said over the weekend that he would absolutely like to sign with the Steelers, and apparently, the interest is mutual. The Steelers have been in touch with Boyd this offseason, according to Mark Kaboly of the Pat McAfee Show, but the veteran receiver has been unsatisfied with the financial offers from Pittsburgh or any other team. The word on the street is that all the offers Boyd is getting, they're not very good offers as in money-wise, so he's going to play it out, said Kaboly during a recent episode of the Kaboly plus Mac podcast. Kaboly suggested the same was true regarding whatever discussions the Steelers have had with Boyd, whether they have included a formal offer or just more general conversations about potential compensation. There are other available receivers like Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen with better recent track records than Boyd, so he may have to wait for them to find a landing spot before another team meets his demands. He earned just under $2.4 million in Tennessee last year, per over the cap, for the worst full-season performance of his career with just 39 receptions for 390 yards. He also went the entire season 16 games, 8 starts, and 635 snaps, without finding the end zone, an unfortunate career first, causing him to miss out on $2.1 million of available incentives. Now, Boyd may have to consider a veteran minimum salary of $1.255 million with additional money available via incentives, and unlike his deal with the Titans, his next contract may not include any guaranteed money. The Pittsburgh Steelers made a massive trade on Monday, sending Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. So far, the reviews have been all over the place. While we won't know the winner of the trade until everyone takes the field, Mike Florio seems to think the Steelers are getting the better end of the deal. He also believes something was off between Fitzpatrick and the Steelers last year. I saw somebody arguing yesterday that the Dolphins got the better end of the deal because they got Minkah Fitzpatrick, Florio said on Pro Football Talk on Tuesday. Look, something was off with the Steelers and Minkah Fitzpatrick last year. If you pay attention to the Steelers, you know that there was something that wasn't right. And this may have worked out perfectly for the Steelers. Just wait till the right moment. The Steelers grab both of them, Ramsey and Smith, and unload a guy, Fitzpatrick, that maybe the window had closed on his overall effectiveness there. Given the stability he's provided to the Steelers' defense over the years, losing Fitzpatrick is a tough pill to swallow. You don't have to look further than Cam Hayward to realize that. However, the Steelers do have their reasons for doing so. Minkah Fitzpatrick will turn 29 during the upcoming season, so it's not as if he's super old. However, his game has taken a step back over the last 2 years. After making turnovers a hallmark of his game, Fitzpatrick had no interceptions in 2023 and just one in 2024. He was also part of a defense that struggled with miscommunications during the final stretch of the 2024 season. While he wasn't certain, Steelers insider Ray Fittipaldo did point to those communication issues as a possible reason for Fitzpatrick being moved. Whether he was the reason for those problems or not, his pass defense was a problem. Minkah Fitzpatrick allowed completions on 78.8% of the balls thrown his way. He also gave up a 127.6 passer rating when targeted. Each of those is a career worst mark for Fitzpatrick by a decent margin. As stout as he is against the run, he wasn't doing much against the pass, and wasn't creating turnovers either. That, plus the fact that Deshaun Elliott had such a good season last year, made him more expendable. Whether the Steelers win this trade or not remains to be seen. But it does make some sense. In Ramsey, they get a much more versatile defender, and Jonnu Smith is just as versatile on the offensive side of the ball. The Steelers have a history of moving on from players at the right time. We'll see if Fitzpatrick ends up being another example.